So what's up, everybody? Been having issues out of the G and the Z, so I think it's officially time to make a video on like the process of breaking down why your Z or G is kind of giving you issues. I'm gonna go over like bad acceleration, bad idle, stuff like that, and everything you should do on a checklist to check your VQ. I'm gonna start with simple stuff and then work up to more advanced stuff. If it's anything past that, it's probably gonna be a pretty hectic fix for whatever's going on with your car. So first things first, obviously, like any car guy should know, if you're getting if you're getting any type of engine code, you're gonna want to look that up, whether it's with, I don't have an OBD2 reader, but there's ways to look up your codes without OBD2 readers, I'm pretty sure, for every car. Also AutoZone, any of them will print you out a receipt on what to do. I'm like out of breath, man. What is happening? I drank too much coffee, man. So anyways, AutoZone, anybody like that will print you out your codes so that you can look them up and see what's going on. If you don't have a code, it's basically gonna come down to the list that I've got. Or some things, you know, will throw codes for something else. Like if you're having a misfire, sometimes you'll get a cat code, etc., stuff like that. So we're gonna go through and start with the simplest. This is number one. Check your codes if you have them. Alright, so second thing I always like to do with any Nissan, get a voltmeter. You're going to go to the V with the dashes, which is DC, voltage DC, and check your battery just sitting. Alright, ground to ground, red to hot, doesn't really matter. I think if you mix it up, I think it'll just give you a negative reading, yeah. But 12.3 on a Stell battery may be low. I mean, you can look up what voltages you actually need for a Nissan, but I know while running this car sits at like 13.9, which is right in the middle of where it's supposed to be according to Nissan. It seems a little low to me, but that's what it says on the forums to keep the car at, so I'm not going to stress on that too much. Also, Nissan's very heavy on having good connections, right? See, this one's tight, but that one's kind of loose. You would want to fix that. If you can't tighten it up, get a new connector, see if that fixes it. Also, your IPDM is going to be under these trays behind the battery for those who have never like had to work with it. And it's got most of your main fuses for electronics and stuff in the IPDM. You're going to have like your O2 sensor fuses, stuff like that. And I think your main fuse is just bolted to the battery thing. So that's definitely checklist number two. Before I get to like more advanced situations, basically this car drives fine, but if you put it like above 3,000 RPMs, it just stays there. No matter how much gas you give it, the RPMs just stay and the car doesn't accelerate. I've fixed a lot of stuff so far trying to figure it out, and I think it's came down to one sensor or a bad like sensor harness, probably grounding out. So this video will definitely apply to anybody who's like not able to accelerate. If your car is going into limp mode, if it's hesitating low end, top end, this should fix pretty much every issue or give you an idea of how to fix every issue. So the second thing I've always, let's see, actually this would be third. I think it's three. Y'all got to keep up for me. The third thing I've always found super reliant on VQs, mass airflow, throttle body, air filter. You're going to want to check all these, possibly clean all these. So just get a new air filter, get some mass airflow cleaner. Do not clean this with anything else but mass airflow cleaner. And then get throttle body cleaner and kind of clean this up. Maybe get some connection cleaner and clean the connectors themselves. And then anytime you do anything, just unplug the negative side of the battery for like 10-20 minutes. It should reset, and then you can see if your code's gone or if the hesitation, etc. is gone. But this whole lineup of air is pretty reliant. I've seen VQs break down just because they had a little piece of plastic stuck in the mass airflow meter. So your car goes to the shop with a towing fee and everything else because something's in your mass airflow. Past that, you're gonna have your throttle body relearn. You can always look this up on YouTube. There's a way to relearn your throttle body so the idle and everything is kind of set back to factory where it's supposed to be. That's something I've never actually done, but I know that has worked for some people. Other than that, before we get into just like actual engine components like your intake valve timing, we're gonna look into just plugs, man. Like, check your spark plugs, make sure they're not burning the wrong way. You can look up charts on how your spark plug's supposed to look. Just pull a plug out, see how it looks, if it's black or oily or etc. Just kind of go through and change all your plugs, and then see if that also can fix your car. Check all your vacuum lines, cracks, loose lines, etc. That can always give you an issue. I think this one's cracked a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be my issue. The car's running pretty rough for it to be a vacuum crack. But, you know, check all your grounds, make sure they're not rusted. And this is all very easy stuff you can do in 25-30 minutes before you decide it's something like really majorly wrong with your car. Alright, moving on. The next thing with VQs is you definitely want to have some clean oil. Like, this is still, you know, got the gold look to it. I just changed it probably like 100 miles ago. So if you got dirty, nasty, cruddy oil, lower weight oil, too heavyweight oil, etc., it can throw off the intake valve timing sensors. The thick cruddiness will get into these. It'll like mess with your valley gasket, etc., and it'll throw the car off. So you definitely want to make sure you got clean oil. So basically everything I just went through was like a single day tune-up you can do after work or something. You know, check your mass airflow, check your filters, throttle body, battery connections, oil, spark plugs, etc. That usually can fix a lot of things that could be wrong with a VQ. This goes for other Nissans that I've owned too. Like, I've had a VH45 swap 240 that was on the channel. I've had KAs, SRs. They're really dependent on everything being gapped to what they're supposed to be, everything being cleaned up with good connections. Next one's a little more complicating. This is going to be an ECU reset. Some people say this helps their car immediately. I can't reset my ECU on the 350Z. I'm pretty sure I messed the ECU up with LED taillights. So if it doesn't reset, or you're getting a lot of error reading codes through your OBD scanners, you may have a bad ECU. These cars do have an issue with them going bad. If you order another one, you do have to have it reprogrammed for VATs to be gone or VATs to match, because the keys in this car have to match the ECU. So key in, turn it to the on, 3 seconds, then pump the pedal really fast 5 times. Let off the pedal for 10 seconds, hold it down for 12, let off for 10, see it blinking, hold it down again for 10, and then you would cut the car off and then start the car. I'm pretty sure it's the process. It may be a little bit wrong, look it up yourself. There's a lot of videos on it, but that should reset your ECU. I'm not going to go through the process. I don't feel like starting the car, and I'm going to unplug the battery and redo everything on my OBD scanner. So I wouldn't worry about that too much on my end, but that could fix your car. And that is the easiest things you can go through in just a couple of seconds with really no major tools. AutoZone can check your battery, they can check your codes, etc. All this can be done without spending money. Before I start tearing the car apart, there's one more thing you can check. That's going to be the fuel pump. The fuel pump on a G35 and a Z is going to be behind the passenger seat. I really locked this one in. It's going to be back here under this juke. You're going to spin these tabs, pull it off, and there's 6 Phillips heads that hold it in. It's a pretty easy change, maybe takes 20 minutes. But that's also where the fuel filter is going to be on these cars, so thanks Nissan for that. To see why your Nissan VQ is running like garbage. This probably works for other cars as well. A lot of other cars have VQs, so now I'm gonna get into the process of fixing mine. I gotta pull the intake and everything off. So I'm actually gonna be replacing the knock sensor and the harness. So I'm pretty sure that's my issue. I fixed the IVT bank 1, and the code did go away and stayed away. So I only have one more code, it's for a knock sensor, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna fix the car. If you go pull the lower valley off, that is your knock sensor way down there. Where did that come from? So I believe I found the issue. This was actually down in the cylinder. I have no clue how it got there, but if this was creating a misfire, that's probably why the knock sensor was going off. But I'm going to change the knock sensor anyways, and the harness. So, but this is your knock sensor harness. See, it goes to your why can I not think? It goes to your injectors and pretty much the main engine harness right there. This is your knock sensor, and then this plugs up around your exhaust manifold. So you replace all this, make sure none of the connections are broke. Like this one looks rough, but the wires aren't broke or anything, so that's it. I just looked it over and you can see the wires completely shredded. This is going to be an issue. If that grounds out, it's going to mess up some stuff. There's another wire coming off the harness that goes down towards your exhaust header. I'm probably going to have to lift the car up and see what that one looks like. If not, I can cut this plug or put the new harness on. So I'm going to get that done and then we can jump back in. All right, we about to attempt the first test drive. Engine light has not came back on, but it sounds like there's definitely a misfire. It's probably from cylinder number 1 never firing. But like I said, when I first drove it, you couldn't really go above 3,000 RPM. So let's see what this does. All right. Definitely an exhaust leak, but it's not struggling to go now so far. Exhaust leaks making it sound horrible. This car sounded really good at first, but I definitely need to get some mufflers on here. Still got the stock muffler, just a test pipe. Pops a lot. Feels a lot better low end already, and it let out a pretty big pop right there. Feels like an automatic VQ though. Definitely gonna have to check that cylinder to see what happened to the plug after all that. And it needs gas, so. Oh, it feels so much better. So let me know what you guys think. It definitely seemed to have fixed my engine light too, which it may come on soon. There's still an oxygen sensor missing, but it definitely will let it past 3,000 now. So even though it doesn't sound necessarily the strongest, but yeah, go through that checklist for any VQ issues. You're welcome to comment. Please comment, actually, and hit the like button. Check out the other builds that I've done. And I will see you guys in the next one. I mean, it fixed this car, so, you know, Hopefully it works for you, and if it doesn't, I can try to help you in the comments.